Yo, little quick addendum. When we first recorded this video, we didn't know what the trade was going to be. It's going to be Bruce Brown and more than likely either Kelly Olynyk and somebody else or Chris Boucher and somebody else. But it's going to be centered around Bruce Brown for Brandon Ingram. So note that in the video because we knew it was either going to be a Brandon Ingram for Bruce Brown, which I thought was the most sense, or a RJ Barrett. But I personally think the one with Bruce Brown's better because then that way you have a lineup of Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Pertl, Grady Dick, and Ochai Agbaji off the bench. Ooh, baby, I love that. Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're hearing that Brandon Ingram is going to Toronto. I was told about this trade 2 days ago. My buddy was sitting with BI's agent at, I believe it was the Clippers game. And he kind of told me what was going on, but this is what else we know. BI is going. Brandon Ingram will get extended there. And Chris Haynes was the one who broke this news. All credit goes to Chris Haynes. Chris Haynes goes. New Orleans Pelicans are in advanced discussions to trade for Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors. That is all him. And obviously, from my understanding, is that the deal will be built around RJ Barrett. And I actually really like this Brandon Ingram deal. It gives Scotty Barnes a formidable foe. So welcome to the six. Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram are about to be able to wreak havoc. I think they both need the ball in their hands. But until we know the full discussions of what the trade will be, because I know there's two ways this deal can happen. Either Bruce Brown or RJ Barrett. From what I was told, the Raptors obviously want RJ Barrett, or not the RJ Barrett, Bruce Brown to be the deal. The Pelicans wanted to be RJ Barrett. We'll talk about that later once we know the full deal. But I just want to talk about the idea of Manny Quickly, Mr. Scotty Barnes, Jakob Pertl, Brandon Ingram. I think Grady Dick, you have a actual team there. You have two guys who are arguably top 30 players leading the roster. You have a top 15 center in Jakob Pertl. You have a solid head coach in Darko Rajakovic that I personally think is deserving of being called solid. So with all of that being put there, I really do believe that this is the type of deal that a team like the Raptors do, because it helps raise their ceiling, and they don't want to rebuild, and they're not a team that has the luxury to rebuild because of their market. So to me, when you look at this situation, it seems easiest that yes, the 16-35 Raptors are about to trade for Brandon Ingram, who is going to be a free agent after the season because they're going to give him an extension. If you look at this offseason at the free agents who are going to be available, all the ones who could potentially be available that might have some interest by other teams are ones that have options or are more than likely going to stay with said team through extensions, with Santi Aldama perhaps now being the most valuable or sought after free agent as of right now. And if that's the case, Brandon Ingram is a guy that I think fits well into what they're trying to do here in Toronto, and that is have a lot of length, have a lot of guys who can play multiple positions, push the pace, and fit Darko Rajakovic's style of play. And I really do like the idea of Brandon Ingram being someone that, I don't know, who could be a second initiator, the second option, the Robin to Scotty Barnes' Batman. And to me, I think that's the big part in all of this, is understanding a team like the Raptors, who I don't think they're really going for a championship this year, but they don't rebuild. And as a result, it only makes sense. A team that is the 12th worst offense, 5th worst defense in terms of scoring points and scoring defense. Their ratings, to be exact, is 6th worst offensive rating and 4th worst defensive rating, with a net rating of the 6th worst of -5.1. I look at this squad and I think we all knew certain players were expendable. Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, Chris Boucher, allegedly, even though Chris Boucher, they were talking extensions. But the idea that Jakob Poeltl, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, those 5 players right there for a team that is, you want to hear something crazy? They attempt the 15th most field goals a game, 6th most 2-pointers made, 3rd most 2-point attempts, but they are the 2nd worst 3-point shooting team in terms of attempt makes and 9th best in percentage. So it's very interesting, and they move the ball really well, but outside of that, they're not good at protecting the rim. They don't get to the free throw line enough, and they don't dominate the boards, but they pass the ball a lot. They attempt a lot of field goals. So it's a very, very interesting mix. And RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes are their 2 top scorers. Outside of that, Grady Dick, Emmanuel Quickley, and Jakob Poeltl, and then Ochai Agbaji and Chris Boucher rounded out there with Jacoby Walter, the rookie, who we knew was going to be a scorer, and Kelly Olynyk and Davion Mitchell. Who Davion Mitchell this year, I think he's really found himself, and he's not really taking many free throws, but his 3-point shots falling this year, and he's shooting almost 43% from the field, and he's all NBA, all defense level type defender this year. So I think that's one's really interesting. But regardless, I think the idea of Ingram and Barrett being the future, I like it. I think you weren't going to have the luxury of finding anyone else this good in free agency, and for what the cost Ingram is going to cost them, I think it was the best deal that they could have done. As I think if they had waited any longer, this would have been a situation where I think they would have been caught holding the bag, and that's a position I don't think anybody wants to be in. And what I mean by that is just Ingram going where he wanted in free agency and them not being compensated. And I think that was what they were just trying to avoid. I think at the end of the day, they just wanted to be compensated. They just wanted someone to give them whatever they could get so that he wouldn't leave just for free. I think that was the biggest thing, and that's why when we look at this situation, it makes sense that was the case. What do you guys think about this Brandon Ingram trade? We'll have the full details probably when this video gets posted. So shout out Chris Haynes for that. I'm curious, especially if you're a Raptors fan, was this what you wanted? Or was he not somebody you guys cared to trade for? I definitely thought he was going to be definitely an interesting pickup, to say the least. I would have thought you guys would have been, this it fits the reason why you did it, but I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I'm curious how it's all gonna play out. Sure, but hey, time will tell. I think it could be a great move, could also be a bad move. Who knows? I don't, you don't. So I'm gonna head out. I hope you guys did enjoy. Peace out. Bye.